Are we recording?
Shane, are we recording?
Am I allowed to talk?
Good question.
Only when we talk to you first.
Oh, okay. Got it. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. On 4, we're going to clap, okay?
On 4?
Yeah,
Yeah,
1,
what?
2,
That's
3,
so weird.
clap.
Sorry.
1, 2, 3,
1, 2,
clap.
3, clap.
Okay, ready?
That's a weird way of saying it, but yes,
All right.
like, I get it.
Okay.
Hold up. I just want to take a moment to agree with Robin. That is a fucking weird ass way to say it. Okay.
All right, are we ready?
Ready?
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hi. Welcome to Bunk 237? 237. Do you say 237 or 237 or 200?
I say 23-7. Definitely say 23-7. No, I think I say 237. Room 237, bunk 237.
Yeah, we should settle this right away. How we're gonna say numbers. Okay.
Yeah, that's
All right.
really good.
All right. Yeah. Bunk 237. That sounds great. Well, welcome to Bunk 237.
Welcome, everybody.
Yeah, our
all the
secret
people in the world.
Yeah, our secret meeting room where we gab about horror movies.
Yeah.
Today we are talking top 3 lists?
Mm-hmm.
Top 3, oddly
Top
specific. 3. Oh, sorry. I should probably say my name.
No, I should probably say your name.
Oh, right.
Hi, this is Bunk 237, and that is Tuyet.
Hey, this is Bunk 237, and that is Robin. Robin, what are we talking about today?
Today,
Yeah.
we each brought a top 3 list of the horror movies that we cannot stop thinking about.
Fantastic. Do you want to start with 3? Wait, hold
3?
up. Are yours in order, or yours in random order?
In order of what?
Of like most thought about to least thought about. Like which one
I will
is...
tell you this. That's a good question. I think they are probably. I think about them pretty equally. They are all 3 movies that I've only seen one time, yet still have not stopped thinking about.
Oh, interesting.
All right. I don't know why I've only seen them one time, because these are movies that I would definitely watch again.
Okay.
But that is the thing they all have in common. Other than that, they are in a random order.
Okay.
How about are your movies in an order?
I did. Yeah. I put my movies in order of sort of like least thought about to most thought about, or specifically definitely like my number 1 is one that I like have thought about since a child.
Cool.
So that one is my number 1. So mine is sort of, but honestly my number 2 and 3 are kind of thinking about them in different ways. One of them I was thinking about just because it's scary, and the other one I think about a lot because I really like it.
Yeah, I have different reasons. My first one is Under the Shadow. I don't know if you've seen it.
No, I know nothing about it.
It is a 2016 Persian language movie by an Iranian director, and it is one of the best demon ghost story movies that I've seen in a long time. But it also like tackles issues of like the complexities of motherhood and like women in the being stuck at home versus like the workplace, and it takes place in like 1980s war-torn Tehran, and it's just like there's so much going on. It's like a near perfect movie, and it's one that I would totally watch again. I've seen it kind of recently, which I think is why I've only seen it once.
Okay,
but it is so scary. Like there are jump scares, but it's also just like so tense throughout the entire thing.
Is it scary because it's tense? I mean, like, what is like?
There
what
are
is
like
the
jump
scariest?
scares, but then there are also like I don't know, going crazy, thinking that she's going crazy.
Do you think it's scarier because you are also a woman? Like,
probably.
Are you finding something to relate in there?
The mom in the movie had to give up her career because she was involved with like leftist groups.
Fucking men, am I right?
Oh my God, right? And she's sort of this reluctant stay-at-home mom while her husband is off at war. So it's like the anxiety of having a husband at war, plus the anxiety of having to care for a child during a war, plus the anxiety of like wanting to be in the workplace and not wanting to be home with her. Like, it's like, oh, it's a lot.
Yeah. Wait, so what is the horror? Where, like, for you, that's the big horror of it?
So the movie is about a demon that comes and haunts
demon
their
movies.
house. Yeah, it's like this mute child speaks for the first time and whispers into the main character's daughter's ear, and that's how it like releases the demon. And so it's like you don't really see it as far as I remember. It's like a shadowy kind of figure. That
leads really well into my number 3 movie.
Yeah.
Is an unknown monster. Is It Follows 2015. It Follows.
That's a good one.
It's a really good one. And it is like, I don't get too scared anymore by horror movies, at least like not afterwards. You know, there's sort of like the aftertaste of horror movies. But this one really followed me like into my daily life. Followed me into like my daily life because the unknown horror of just having a figure like follow you is like something that really hit a nerve with me. And just, you know, like how they're following like this possessed person who really has no direction except just towards you in a really slow, encumbering way. And it's something that's like you don't know how to fight it, and you only know that it's coming at you and not stopping. And there's something so fucking terrifying. Like
I think about that movie a lot too. That specifically the pool scene.
Oh,
where everything goes crazy.
Why is it so scary? Like, why is it? I've thought about this because I think also in life, also as a woman, just the idea of being followed at any point,
right?
Or just like that creepiness of like just the sinister figure that's bigger than you, in spirit or in physical form is like so
feeling helpless against it, kind of.
Yeah, and like that was a movie that I definitely I like had slept with the lights on and like locked all my doors. I did a double check around the apartment where I was like, I'm gonna do a double check real quick.
That rarely happens to me.
Rarely happens, right? Yeah, and so that was my like.
Now, have you seen it more than once? Have you watched it
I've seen it twice.
Okay.
I would definitely watch it again, but I definitely like the first time I watched it, I was like so scared, like just from just the idea of it. Because honestly, because when you think about the kind of the story of it and of, I think people talking about it being about a little bit about virginity or premarital sex and stuff like that, that makes it kind of less scary. It's just like, it's a very scary movie monster. But the premise of like, I don't know, virgins and non-virgins being targeted is like, okay. But, and then the second time I watched it is a little bit, partly because it was very beautifully shot and sort of like cinematically, I really just like wanted to really actually take in all sort of the colors and everything.
It's a pretty horror.
I mean, it's like so stylistic and so pretty, which I think if it didn't have that, I may not have watched it a second time. But I think like very like that kind of cinematography and that kind of like extra stylistic horror is a kind of horror movie that I like a lot.
Yeah. That sort of transitions very well into my second movie.
Segues, look at us.
I swear, we didn't plan this.
Segues, we didn't. We just came up with this idea 5 minutes before this recording.
Don't give away our secrets. So the second movie is probably actually the one that I think about the most.
Okay.
And I think I've mentioned it to you before. It's called The Eyes of My Mother. It's a 2016 movie as well. It is black and white and just so horrifying. So it's about it's really quiet and there really aren't like jump scares or anything. It's just like so incredibly disturbing. And it's about a young girl who lives with her parents on a farm. Her parents are disturbed. They they traumatize her when she's little, and then one day a traveling salesman arrives at their door. I don't want to give away too much because I really want you to see it and I want us to watch it and talk about it more. But things go fucking crazy.
Well, wait,
it gets fucking crazy. He ends up being a dangerous person, and then I don't want to give it away.
What about it has kept you thinking about it?
So unnerving, especially the guy who plays the salesman. His character, his acting, his performance. I have his like scary smile burned in my brain for the rest of my life. It's so good, and it's really quirky is the wrong word. It's really the wrong word. It's really stylized. It's really sort of a disjointed storytelling kind of thing. It's called The Eyes of My Mother because the little girl's mother is I think she's a doctor or some sort of doctor who teaches her how to like remove the eyeballs of farm animals. It's just like got these really weird, unsettling.
I remember I learned that in farm school when I was 7.
Yeah, farm school.
Did you not go to farm school?
And then it just keeps going. Like you think the story happened and then there's just more to it. And it just is relentless.
Is it the story that is unnerving? Like the whole plot line?
The whole plot line is unnerving. Okay. But honestly, for me, the thing that I think about the most is what it looks like, what the movie looks like. It's black and white. It's just a startling kind of like timeless, out of time piece of filmmaking that I have not stopped thinking about.
Oh, I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
I think you will like it.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
May not be the right word.
I'm very excited by things that are unnerving. is the kind of personality you're getting.
I'm also so worried about hyping it up too much. So like, it's also kind of bad. No, I don't know. It's not.
I have a similar fear when I really love something. I like try to step back and be like, wait, like, do I like that because I'm super weird and maybe I shouldn't tell people? Right. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, what, like some dumb thing? And I was like, okay, I feel the same way sometimes when I like get really excited about something. I was like, but it's also, I get it if you don't like it. Like I'm I'm always trying to be so
just
polite.
Don't want to overhype it.
Yeah. No, I get it. But that sounds great. But honestly, definitely something, if someone describes something as unnerving and like, but also beautiful, that's definitely on brand for things that I like.
Similar to It Follows that way, although it differs in almost every other way.
Great. Good feels.
But yeah.
My number 2 is The Descent, 2005, The Descent.
I have not seen this, and I feel shame as a horror movie fan that I haven't seen it yet.
It's so good. And it was something that I feel like when I saw it, I saw it sort of like after the initial hype for it. I think I like rented it or something. Do you rent? Were we renting movies in the late 2000s? However, I saw it. It was definitely kind of after the hype for
DVDs.
it. Yeah. Oh wow! I think I might have got the Netflix DVD of it. But yeah, when I saw it, I was like, this was something that like kind of brought me back to sort of like early mid-aughts like horror. I was like, it was such a good movie, and I was one of the things where I was like, I can't believe I slept on this movie. It was so good. And I think a recurring theme through a lot of these is it's beautiful. It is an absolutely beautiful movie and beautiful filmmaking. And then like, and it's a horror film that takes like 3/4 of the way through the movie before the big bad shows up, you know? It's a lot of suspense, which feels like a lot of old school kind of horror movie, like Rosemary's Baby or things where like,
and if that's done well, that's really good.
Totally. So it like takes a really long time for any kind of like monster to show up. But in the time before that, it like really builds a really beautiful story and a very claustrophobic filmmaking because you know they're like there's a spelunking there in caves and there's something there's a separate terror
that
about
terrifies
like,
me to begin with.
Yeah, and it's like and it's so beautiful because there's some of these shots where the girls are in caves and they have to crawl through these like tiny holes and so this is just like all black and you just see like a little bit of light, and like seeing it on screen is just like you can feel how small that space is. And so like they use all this natural tension, and then there's also some like tension between the characters. So they sort of use all these sort of real world, very reasonable scares, very relatable things in the world that are already like so like nerve wracking. And then they're like, also here are these monsters that live in the center of the earth. You probably know this in general, right? About the movie that they're these like humanoids that live in the earth. And I think the other thing that's so unnerving about that is that it feels so like reasonable. Like there could be, we don't know what's in the center of the earth. In deep dark caves, we don't know.
And it's also like, I'm already getting scared thinking about it because they spent so long of like so much of the movie getting down there that you just know how hard it is for them to get out.
Yeah, and it's like it's honestly like so, and it's so simple and so brilliant. And you're like, oh, they got stuck in a cave. Like, can you imagine getting stuck in a cave in the earth? I can't wait for you. I cannot wait for you to watch it. And then these like humanoid monsters, which also just for the special effects team, beautiful monsters, like very, very cool looking. And
I don't think I've seen what they look like.
Oh, you're gonna love it. And they're not because I feel like usually, and I love monster movies, but I think being spoiled as a modern adult with like special effects and things, like there are you see monsters that and you're like, oh, that's like when you finally see the monster, you're like, oh, that's kind of cheesy. I felt that way about what's the movie where everyone has to be quiet? With John
Place.
What's it? Yeah, Quiet Place. Yeah, did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, when I saw those when they were, I was like,
oh, okay.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I was just like, okay, that's cool. It's a cool drawing that someone made to life.
It was honestly scarier before they showed up.
Exactly.
Them to never show up.
And I think there's so many movies like spend so much time building up this monster, and then you see it, and you're just like, oh, that's fine.
Right.
But with The Descent, like when I saw those monsters, I was like, fuck, that's a good monster. I was like, oh God. Cool. I was like, shit. And I think the reason I think about this one a lot is honestly just because I think it's almost like such a perfect horror movie, in where it has the scares, it has fucking crazy monsters, it's very bloody. I also like, it's like, strong women leads, there's a final girl, like it hits all these little like horror movie things you want, like tension, but it's also very like cinematic and really artsy, and like and the multiple endings is interesting. And it's like I think about like, I think if anyone ever asked like what's a horror movie that would define a lot of horror movie things I like, I would probably say The Descent.
I love it, and I'm more excited than ever to watch it.
I cannot wait. It's so good. And that one I will watch. I've seen that one multiple times, and I will watch it like many more times, like anytime.
I feel that way about my next movie, which I've only seen once so far, but I will watch it whenever because it's a new movie, which I'm pretty sure you've seen it. It's Midsummer. I have not stopped thinking about Midsummer since I saw it.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite hit the horror movie tropes of like something like The Descent.
Yeah.
Although when watching it, and I saw Hereditary, and I loved Hereditary, and it was like a very pretty classic like scares throughout kind of movie.
Yeah.
Midsummer, the opening sequence, terrified me. It was so hard to watch and so disturbing. Yes. And then once they get to Sweden and like the things started happening. Yeah. I just like maybe this says something terrible about me, but I was like, it was so joyful to me. And by the end I was like, yeah. I just felt like it was like the feel-good movie of the year. Yeah. By the end, I was like, she's found her place. Like, everything's wonderful.
That's amazing. I love that reaction to Midsummer. I love that reaction to Midsummer so much. What's interesting, I almost put Midsummer on my list.
Really? I'm very curious.
Because similarly, it's definitely a movie that I've thought about a lot since I've seen it twice. Hearing other people's reactions to it, I'm also really fascinated with, because like I definitely had a visceral reaction to it, And what's interesting that I think about that is because it's not creepy, but it's very scary, right? Like it's like I mean, there are things that are like disturbing about it, but like when I think creepy, you know, I think Monsters in the Night or something. But this was like,
it was a really interesting movie to me because the opening sequence when she, you know, discovers her family has died or whatever is so much scarier to me than the entire rest of the movie. Like it knocks you off.
Yeah.
That so much that like you spend the rest of the movie and like people's heads are getting bashed in and like whatever and like being torn apart and strung up, and I'm like, you know what, like this is gonna be okay.
Yeah, no, I will say they did really, that's an interesting take, how they really did sort of give away so much in that first like 10 minutes or whatever, and it is hard and it's scary and it's emotional,
like, exhausting you
totally, just like right away. And it's like parent death is like one of the like you will get me every single time with parent death. Horrifying. Every single time.
Me too.
And so like just to come out with that right away, it was like, oh fuck. But you're right, the rest of it does feel like kind of pale in comparison.
And it was also like her boyfriend was so immediately terrible. That like when you realize what's happening, eventually I was just like, get him. I was just like, go.
There was definitely a sense of like, you know, when they purposely introduce a terrible character that you know is going to die, you're like, thank you for doing that.
Right. And then like Shane is like looking around, he's trying to find the exit.
That's Robin's husband, Shane.
my husband Shane, who's producing this podcast, who's sitting right across from me and very shocked right now. But I won't stop talking about it because I loved it so much. It was, I mean, not to say that like it wasn't gory and it wasn't unsettling and it wasn't like it was gory and it wasn't gory, like unnerving the whole time, and it was like it was tense and confusing, and you like felt what Florence Pugh was feeling, and just like really lost and scared. And then it just like once it started falling into place, I was just like, this is great. I've been telling everyone, I was like, it's the feel good movie of 2019. You gotta watch it.
Like there's no fucking break, it feels like, in this movie.
And there's humor. There's the guy who's writing his thesis who's so clearly just like and then like the other the dynamic of the college kids or whatever. Why I didn't put Midsummer on my list was partially because as much as I love Midsummer and I really enjoyed it, and I think the more I talk to people about it, I don't know if I liked it as much as everyone else did, to be honest. And I don't know, there's not a particular reason. Like I didn't hate it. I feel like I've talked to people like you and other fans of it who like were deeply felt it, and I like liked it, but I was just like, oh, I don't know, it was like a good movie. I don't know if I did end up watching it twice. I would watch it again, but I don't know if I would pick to watch it on my own. Do you know what I mean? To me, it's like it's a very specific movie because it's horror, but it's super bright, and a lot of it takes place during the daytime. And that's like a weird sort of like off-putting thing, and it's also like I was surprised. I would have thought that I would have gotten bored at some point, that it like would be a little slow, and I just didn't. I think because I was so sucked in, but I could see how that could be a thing.
You know, now that I'm thinking about it, I wonder if I think I also watched Hereditary and Midsummer in very close proximity to each other. I think maybe like within a week. And I'm pretty sure that I watched Hereditary first, which I liked a lot. And I think I might have liked Hereditary better. I think I might have screwed myself by watching his other movie too soon had passed and not letting it like
right. Yeah. I think because I saw Hereditary in theaters and then I saw Midsummer way after it came out. Enough time had passed that I had.
I feel like I should revisit. I should watch Midsummer again. We will watch Midsummer again.
We will.
Because
I can't wait. I'm like, I'm going to make some popcorn, pour myself a glass of wine, get some streamers ready.
I have several other girlfriends who also all had the same, like, I think like you had this like very big hearted reaction to it.
I don't think that I realized what was happening until the end. And then like, I really was like, I'm so happy for her by the end.
It's interesting your take on that because I don't know if I understood or if I got that like that.
I honestly don't know if you were supposed to.
That, like this is where she fell. I was just like, but I think maybe that was the thing because maybe we weren't supposed to know if she was in the right place or not. But like, because I was like,
because how could you be in the right place after witnessing?
Totally, because I like the idea because like her having this supportive family around her, like, you know, especially after they, you know, really hammered into you how she doesn't have anyone in this world.
Right.
They were very clear about that.
Right.
And then for her to sort of find this place, even though it was like a really painful journey for her to get from there to the fucking flower address, like it was like in my brain probably wasn't sure how to process. I was like, is this a good thing or bad thing? Are we happy for her? Or are we sad for her?
I think that's
what's
the
going
point
on
of the movie.
I think probably because I was questioning that, I wasn't quite as joyous because, like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be. Like, am I supposed to be happy?
That's probably
I'm gonna wait.
Very normal reaction.
Yeah. Am I supposed to be happy?
What's your third one?
My third one, which is my number one movie that I cannot stop thinking about, partially because it is a movie, and I will tell you this, I don't want to watch it again because it's too scary for me. And partially the reason it's too scary is because I saw it when I was too young. But it is The Exorcist.
Oh.
Classic 1973 The Exorcist. And here's the problem with me. I grew up very girl dish. I grew up very Catholic.
Ooh,
like right? Like did you grow up religious?
No.
Oh, see?
I mean, I am Jewish. I was bat mitzvahed, and then that was the end.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so I grew up very Catholic, and you know, I went to Sunday school. I believed, like, genuinely in my heart, very, very, very much so, believed in God, heaven and hell, the whole business up until about like early teens, like 12, 13, 14. Right around then, I was started to question things, and I was like, I don't know, do I believe in God? Is that real? But up until then, I when bad things happened, I prayed. When sometimes I would shoplift from the corner store, and I thought I was going to hell. Like I was like 10 years old, and I thought I was going to hell because I shoplifted.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It was like it was in my blood. Like I felt so religious.
How old were you when you saw The Exorcist?
I saw The Exorcist probably when I was about like 8 or 9.
Oh no!
Yeah, I know.
Too young.
I know. Here's the second problem is that I have 2 older brothers and no parental supervision as a child.
No.
So I remember like being in grade school, my brothers had rented it. Maybe I was a little older, maybe 9 or 10, but like I was definitely like in elementary school, and my brothers had rented it or however it happened, and they were watching it downstairs, and like no one stopped me. Nobody was like, you shouldn't watch this. Ugh. Nobody stopped me. So I just sat down there and watched it with them. And then me and my fucking brain, who at this point in my life, very, very much so believed in God, very, very much so believed in the devil, was like, oh my God, is this real? Is this a documentary?
Oh my God.
I was like,
I can't imagine.
I was fucking terrified. I remember like laying in bed and praying, and like I would pray myself to sleep because I was worried I was going to get possessed, because thinking that was a real thing that could happen. Not to say that it's not a real thing that can't happen. But I would like lay awake in bed. And so that was the first time I saw it. And then I saw it for a second time when I was 12, not that much better.
Oh my goodness.
Another family night where someone had rented it. and at that time I was 12. I was like, okay, I'm older now. It's fine. And I watched it, and I remember like feeling all the same scares again. Yeah. Like all the same like tenseness.
Yeah.
And like when she like doing that like fucking spider walk and like everything, and her head turning around, and also just her. And at this point, like at 12 years old, I'm still a little bit like godly, you know, still a little bit in the church. I mean, definitely still going to Sunday school. And I remember this so well. And this is how I can remember that I saw it again when I was 12, is because in the movie, there's a part where she's like with the psychiatrist and she's getting hypnotized. And the psychiatrist is like, what's your name? She's like, Reagan. And then she's like, how old are you? And then Reagan goes, 12.
Oh no.
And my brain
That's how old you were.
My brain exploded because I was like, I'm 12.
Oh no.
And then the rest of the movie, I was just like, oh my God, why am I doing this again to myself? And I've seen it again also like as an adult. I guess I've seen it more than twice, but like even as I've like sort of shed the Catholicism, there's something like
it's just dredging up.
Totally. I think joking about being like culturally Catholic, like I feel like a little bit like still like holding it in my heart, like a little bit somewhere. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that movie, I don't remember the first time I saw that movie, and I've it's like one of those movies that like if it's on, I'll watch it. I just really like it.
I won't watch it if it's
but
on anymore.
I could not imagine watching it as someone who had a connection to Catholicism, was already feeling that guilt and fear.
Yeah, it was I can't. I can't. And there was definitely a period, even like they're at like high school. There was like, if there was like a parody of it on like Saturday Night Live, I'd turn it off. Fuck no, I cannot. It gives me just like such flashbacks to just. It's a testament to the movie, such terror too,
because it is still so scary. Like there's nothing, even the pea soup and the like silly sort of effects really don't affect viewings of the movie.
Linda Blair, fuck, she's so good in it. She's so good in it, and I know she's an actor, but like when she's like doing like the demon voice, and even though like I know in my brain that like the demon voice is like audio effects and it's just like magic, and other possession movies I really I will watch.
Not The Exorcist.
I will watch, and that's fine, but a lot of them scare me. They just scare me a little too much.
I mean, it seems like this really is a case of like you were way too young.
Yeah, no,
like, oh man, if I saw that when I was 8,
my little Catholic heart could not take it. Like could not, and to this day a little bit like can't do it. Like if you wanted to watch The Exorcist, I would do it for you. But
that means so much now, knowing the context.
But it is like the one movie, and it's like honestly, literally any other horror movie, I will whatever. I don't care. I'll watch it. I'll watch it anytime. But
have you seen any of the sequels?
I don't. I feel like I might have seen the sequels maybe like 15 years ago. It's I don't have a good memory of the sequel, and honestly,
they're not as traumatized.
Yeah, honestly, maybe I haven't, because I think I might have just like taken the whole Exorcist line and just walked away from it.
But I think they're bad.
Okay, but maybe I should go backwards.
Yeah,
to build up the tolerance to The Exorcist. Start with the worst ones.
So I've seen The Exorcist a lot of times, and my most recent memory of The Exorcist is my family went on a family vacation. In the house we stayed in, there was the book, The Exorcist, and I was like, "Oh, I've never read the book. I'll just read the book alone."
No, thank you. No, thank you.
On family vacation, like in this scary lake house in the middle of nowhere. And then I read the book, and the book is great too. If you want to read.
No, thank you. I do not want to read that.
I'm an Exorcist fan.
I want to be a fan. Because I also understand that it's a good movie. Like, I understand that.
No, but hey, if you are traumatized, you should not be forced to watch.
It's so scary.
It is scary.
There's so many horror movies that I can watch so easily with so much like gore and like like torturous scenes and so much like blood or like ghosts and things. That one is like scary. It's really scary.
I don't disagree. At the end of every episode, we're going to give the movie a patch or a badge.
Yeah, a merit
badge. Yeah, and they can be made up on the spot about just something that you took away from the movie, something that you liked about the movie. My 3 movies, while I'm thinking, were Under the Shadow, The Eyes of My Mother, and A Midsummer.
Oh, I think I would give you best top 3 selection of all these specific international horror movies.
I'll take it. I think that all of those words would fit beautifully on a patch.
Oh, my 3 movies recap. Number 3, It Follows. Number 2, The Descent. Number 1, The Exorcist.
I think I would give you the best selection of top 3 personal terrors, personal horrors.
Thank you. That's a good badge. They are definitely personal terrors. Oh my God. You're right. All mine were like specifically very scary. Like It was like, I don't like people following me. I don't
Being
like
stuck in small spaces and like Catholicism.
personal terrors. No, that's it. I'm going to wear that badge really, really proudly. It's like,
So glad.
these are my personal terrors. That's really good. And like yours is like, wow, those are like, that's really good taste. Yours are like, your merit badge is like best personal taste of international horror movies. And like, I'm scared of everything.
Bunk 237, a horror movie podcast, stars Tuyet Nguyen and Robin Zlotnick as the Final Girls of Bunk 237, and Chris Charpentier as Camp Director Chris. The show is produced by me, Shane Segrin. Our theme song is written and performed by Dan Zlotnick, and our outro music is written and performed by Talene Kali. You can rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, and it may be featured on an upcoming episode. Have a suggestion for a movie? Then follow us on Instagram at Bunk237pod and Twitter at Bunk237. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever podcasts are downloaded.